Welcome to Soccer As We Like It, the Man United direction, the post-game match between Man United and Leeds. Man United 2, Leeds 2. Joining me to discuss this, what happened today, is Louis, Houston Red Army, and Denver Red Army. So he's double Red Army. Louis, how are you, mate?
All good, Tim.
2 points dropped or a point saved. What do you see this as?
Um, Solid, honestly. Look, I think the going down 2-0 today is a reflection of everything that we've struggled with over the last 9 years, which was, you know, very condensed schedules,
Right,
lack of depth
right.
and fatigue. I mean, coming back from 2-0 down and drawing the game,
Mm.
that was a professional moment for us. That was, us going above and beyond. That was amazing. I mean, and it happened in a way where, I mean, you thought we were going to win the game at one point. Uh, I think that the reaction has been very disappointing, I would say, from the fan base, from social media. I think that people's people's opinions on how we played, I think the opinions on specific players, I just think they're not justified. I mean, people are not taking into account the fatigue and, of course, the massive amount of injuries that we've had just in the last couple of days. So I mean, I was happy to see us come back, but I mean, I would have liked to see us win. But I mean, it's really where we are just right now as a football club.
Right. United went 2-0 down. Considered going the first 5 minutes, sloppy defending. Bruno bullied off the ball somewhere halfway line, and they found a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't anticipate him shooting. It was
Yeah,
clear.
honestly, I thought it was a well taken goal. It was clearly a mistake by Bruno. I mean, that's I mean something that we definitely don't expect of him. We expect him to be at a high level all the time. He doesn't have many blunders that are so costly for us. But that being said, I mean, the counter was fast, the nice 1-2.
Mm, mm.
It was knocked around well, and then it was taken well. Cool, calm, placed it around the keeper. So I mean, good on them for scoring it. It's a shame that it comes off of a mistake. Um, but I mean, and the second goal, that one was a bit disappointing for me.
I
The
thought
second
so
goal was
too.
the
It's
own goal
near.
was a bit
Oh,
disappointing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's kind of it's lazy, it's sloppy defending, and Varane is another player where we don't expect that. We expect him to be cool, calm, and collected all the time, but it's really just a reflection of how many games these guys are playing, how many minutes they're putting in week to week,
Right.
and the lack of rotation.
So with that, so the lineup with today's lineup, we had the Gay and goal, the back line of Veron, Martinez, Shaw, and Delo coming back. That defense looked solid. With Shaw on the left, it looked solid. But
Mhm.
when you get to the next phase, that's where we still probably had problems. We had one half of the Scooby Doo crew, which was Fred. Then we had Sabitzer and we had Bruno. Then up front, they had to start Ganacho, Rashford, and Weghorst. No Anthony. No, I mean Sancho didn't start. No Anthony. No. Casimiro. You know.
Yep.
So that lineup, when you saw it, the main concern was the midfield. When you saw that, you said, okay, the midfield. Sabitzer's going to have to drop deep. But can Fred help him? Can they work together and help the defense? Obviously, they couldn't. And the gap between Bruno is a bit too far out. He's too far forward. So there's a gap between them and him. So it was a strange lineup. And I thought it wasn't a strange lineup. I think we put out what was just available at the time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we kind of underestimated Leeds. Things are disarray. They haven't got a manager. Blah blah blah. We should get them 4-5, then hit them another four. That's what we were all thinking and hoping. That I was hearing from United fans this week that when we did the last podcast on Sunday, I said 3 points of the 3 games, 9 points. I said seven. They said, "Oh, it's all." Some of them said nine, some said seven. I think Joe said seven, Ben said nine, or which way. And some of
Yeah.
the two UK crew said 9 points each, as in win all 3 games. But as we know, the Premier League is on any given day, anyone could beat you. If you're not on your game, you can't like you said, 5 minutes in, we'll go down. Then two down. What the hell's going on? But
Yeah, I think that first let me say this. The way Leeds played today
mm,
it tells me that
mm,
Leeds made the wrong decision. I think they pulled the trigger on Jesse Marsch too early.
I think so
I
too.
think that look, I mean, I'm biased as an American, right?
Mm,
But at the same time, I think what Jesse was building there. I say Jesse like he's my buddy. I think what Jesse Marsch was building there was a culture, was a play style. I think he has a lot of young. There's a lot of young players there. There's a lot of inexperience there, but they play attractive, open, attacking football. And to fire him after less than a year, I think is a travesty. And frankly, there's a bias against American coaches in the Prem, right? They never last very long. Mostly rightly so, but this was an extreme example where that was a huge mistake for them. Now, on our side of the ball, the comments about Delo after the first goal, because it was his pass to Bruno, and
right.
then kind of his first 60 minutes. This man is coming off of injury. He has not been playing. He's thrown in to play 90 minutes because
Wan-Bissaka
Wan-Bissaka's
was
ill.
sick.
That, I mean, turns it around, gets the assist, which
Good
was
cross.
amazing. But I mean, just the volatility was just so disappointing. It's so disappointing that because Manchester United has always had a fan base that is I feel has been a little bit more intelligent, understands the game a little bit better, but also has a little bit of patience with our players, understands that we're a club that develops young people. And just the fact that they turned on him so quickly. Sabitzer, I felt had a pretty solid game. I thought he was
I thought
pretty well in
he
the
did a good
midfield.
job.
Um, even he's getting the comments. Even people are like, "Oh man, this was a mistake. Oh, we should have got X, Y, and Z player."
Guess who gets the
People
most stick? Who do you think is getting the most stick currently?
I would say today in this game it was Fred. Fred gets it a lot.
Mm.
Fred is by far not our most technical player. He makes technical mistakes. He had those mistakes today. We know that about Fred. We expect these things from Fred. Fred for us is a workhorse. Fred, wins balls for us in the
Mm.
midfield. Um, he's left alone a bit because I think people think that he's not a threat, and then that's the
Right.
moment where he does score goals. Um, did he have a good game today? Absolutely not. But again, just the vitriol calling for his head essentially is I think people take for granted where we were 6 months ago, where we were
Exactly.
10 months ago. I mean, to go from the worst United side ever to where we are now it's it is so easy to see how fickle those fans are.
Right.
2 weeks ago we were flying high, we were going to win the league. Now, all hope is lost. That's unfair on the players who have to week in week out go into training, prepare for this. Meanwhile, they see the social media, they hear what's on TV, they
Mm.
they know what's being said about them. It's extremely unfair on the modern day athlete, but in this situation, in Manchester United's case, it is ridiculous. It is ridiculous considering where we were 6 months ago.
Right.
Garnacho is another one. Garnacho and I didn't hear a lot of people saying this, and I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't think he's going to play in the weekend because the tackle in the first half that put him on the ground, he never recovered from that tackle. He was rubbing his thigh a lot. He was kind of
Right,
holding on to his
right,
leg.
right.
He was limping a bit. There were moments he would go off on a sprint, fight for the ball, get a shot off, miss, and then wince and hold his leg again. Oh, dude, he gave everything today.
He
He
had
gave
two
everything.
chances. He had the good shot that went past, and there's one. I
Yeah.
think he rounded the keeper, but someone they said he should have passed it and squared it. So I'm not trying to get the glory goal because the guy headed it up to empty net. Headed
Yeah.
it out.
No, I mean, he had several moments today where he created several chances. But again, people online in the Houston Red Army chat, I was reading it back. Garnacho's not ready. Oh, Garnacho is this, Garnacho is that. He's 18. He is a child. He's a child who is scoring goals for one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Right.
And we are a club that develops. We have a history of development. We still hold the record for most consecutive minutes of academy products in the first team. Like, that's what we do.
Right.
And I'm as controversial as this is, I will say it. If the fan base continue to treat youth products in this way, where 2 weeks ago he's a champion, today he is a villain, that is how you get a Mason Greenwood. That is how you get that situation. These players have to be nurtured. These players have to be looked after. Ferguson was the best at that.
The
Now,
only
again,
good thing there was no social media.
he wasn't in the heart of social media for a lot of his career, but he was towards the end of his career, 2013, 2012, 2011.
Yeah.
Social media was big. It wasn't as big as it is now.
No, it wasn't.
The volatility was there. That was a part of it, and he dealt with it in his final years extremely well. Ten Hag has come in and he's brought the discipline and he's brought the culture that can nurture these types of players. But man, as a fan base, we got to do our part. We got to do our part. We cannot go in ripping a player after coming back from 2-0.
Right.
It's
right.
not. It's just not fair. Rashford, for me, in the front three for the majority of the game, was the worst player.
He was.
Weghorst wasn't really receiving service.
No, he's not.
Wasn't really involved. That's something to be said. There's a whole nother conversation about who Weghorst is as a player, but is meant for Marcus Rashford, who is a Manchester United product, who has been flying lately. Do not get me wrong. He has absolutely been flying. He's one of our best players. He's one of the best strikers in the league right now. He had a bad game. Lost the ball several times.
Yep.
Poor shot selection. Had a lot of mistakes, turned it around, fought back, beautiful header. Not saying anything bad about Rashford other than for the front three, he was the one that had the most mistakes.
He did.
You can't play Sancho because he's another one coming off of injury. So he comes in later in the game because, we have to monitor his minutes or else he's going to end up right back where he was. Phenomenal. Came in, immediately made the impact, scores the goal, fantastic goal, beautiful from him. But the selection as far as Ten Hag is concerned, at first I was like, man, maybe it could have been better. But after you really think about it, after you really look at where we are with injuries and all that, he played who he could. He played who he could. He played. Yeah. He played his best 11 for what we have right now.
Exactly.
And with Eriksen out, with Casemiro
out, suspended,
McTominay
Anthony
probably could have come in maybe 20, 30 minutes, maybe helped Fred out there, wasn't available. Anthony injured, Martial injured. Come on.
Wan-Bissaka sick.
Wan-Bissaka sick.
Rushed in.
And Cody Gakpo ruining his career by making horrible decisions. This is where we're at.
I like the way you threw that one in there.
I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw Ruud van Nistelrooy's comments on Cody Gakpo. Sorry to get sidetracked here.
No, I didn't see. What did he say?
He basically said, he's like, I spoke to Gakpo And he's like, I lobbied hard for Manchester United. I told him, if you go to Manchester United, you're going to score goals. Manchester United, I guess they decided they wanted to wait till the summer. He encouraged Gakpo to wait. He was like, Gakpo, wait. Gakpo didn't listen. He was listening to Van Dijk at the time. They were in communication, and ultimately he chose Liverpool. And he was like, he made the wrong decision. He's like, he said Liverpool are tiny compared to Manchester United. He's like you would have been in the first team scoring goals, and frankly, he's right. You know, with Martial being hurt all the time, if we had Gakpo in that role instead of Weghorst, I think it makes a considerable difference. Weghorst, he's a player that it was somewhat of a panic get. You know, we needed a striker. We're not getting Osimhen until potentially the summer if we get him at all.
120 million.
Summer on Gakpo. So they made a panic buy because all the players that they wanted got bought up.
Yeah.
He's an average soccer player. He's not a terrible soccer player. He presses really well. He's big. He's physical. He is a presence, but he's not a creative striker. He's not.
He's not a Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's not a Robbie van Persie.
He's not a Van Nistelrooy. He's not any of these types of players. So
is he a Ronaldo?
Is he a Ronaldo? Look again. Not a bad soccer player. Not a bad soccer player. He's not fit to lick the bottom of Ronaldo's boots. But I would say that about most soccer players. You know what I mean? Look, like,
but
comparing them is ridiculous. And I know what you're saying. It's on social media a lot right now, where Ronaldo wasn't creating anything else, for us either. Look, man, that was a whole toxic situation in and of itself.
Right.
But to compare the two is blasphemy.
I had the conversation of, I would say, he's not a mate. He's an absolute clown. He said, Rafford is going to get 50 goals this season. I said, which team is he playing in?
Yeah, right. I wish.
He said he's going to outscore Ronaldo. I said, no. Wouldn't that even give credit more to Ronaldo? Because Ronaldo's team was so bad last season. It was really bad. As in toxic. Yeah. He had Scooby-Doo as his providers. Scooby-Doo. Pogba was injured for what? The whole season, literally? Exactly. But now you have Casemiro. You think if Ronaldo had Casemiro last season and a fit Pogba?
I mean, come on. You know what I mean? He's
and he had Matic.
Yeah, he's playing the balls on the ground that Ronaldo was looking for every, like those through balls, playing in towards the gaps, chipping it overhead, finding him to feet. Casemiro is that quality. I think there was a lack of trust there in the squad between Ronaldo and everybody else. And somebody, I was watching Goldbridge's stream, somebody made the comment, as soon as Weghorst came off, then we started sending balls over the top. And
like that guy on Instagram
and that's what we did to Ronaldo. And it's like, it's not because he can't do it. It's because there's no trust there. And there was no trust for Ronaldo for personality and toxicity reasons. There was no trust there with Weghorst because of technical ability. He's just not that good, and they don't trust him. I mean, you put Rashford in there, who is not even as big, but he comes in and the ball comes, ball's put it over the top and he heads it. There has to be a level of that. I think it's something Ten Hag is still working on, but right. I mean, ultimately, you just can't eviscerate the squad on social media or on television or anywhere just because we drew 2-2 to Leeds after massive injuries and this kinds of things. And the problem is because a week ago we were like, we're in a title race. Now we're not. The week before that, we were not in a title race. Last week we were in a title race. And this week we're not in.
This is United fans for you. This is 2023 United fans. They just, I mean, there are some who have level heads. I think I put United fans in 3 categories. the people who know football, who know the history, who understand and know the peaks and troughs. You have the
Right.
middle fans who are the young fans who are like, oh, we're not playing well. Oh, okay. They have
Yeah.
the next generation who like, oh, I don't like United. I'm gonna go support another team. Oh, this guy's so rubbish. He's crap. He's shit. He's this. He's that. He's
Yeah.
that. He's
Yeah.
that. He's that. He's that. Oh, that is where we are.
We live in a toxic time for
Yes,
sports, man. We
because
we really really do. But I mean, if you're worried week in week out whether or not we're in a title race, like I mean, your bill on blood pressure medicine must be through the roof. Like that is that is. I mean, I don't understand how you live like that. But this team needs time. This team is successful right now. Today was a success.
right.
It started off horrible, but we came back. I want to share this with you because I'm watching the game in the office, so
Mm.
I'm with coworkers and that.
Yeah.
And one of my coworkers, he's a Chelsea fan.
Mm.
And but he said something to me, and Tim, let me tell you, like chills down my spine when he said it. He turned to me and he said, he's like, you know what I'm really concerned about? I'm concerned that Fergie time is back. And I was like, ooh, goosebumps. I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
because
Because they
over
fight.
the
This,
last
yeah,
over the last 9 years, especially in the Solskjaer era and in the Ragnick era, how many times did we get in towards the last 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and we're screaming, they're not trying. They're not even
yeah. Because
running.
heads
They're not,
drop when they
yeah,
go a goal
heads
down,
drop.
two down at home. No, that game last season they were done.
Yeah,
They
no,
were done.
I think other fans of other teams are recognizing that this is a team that is hungry,
Mm,
that wants to compete, that has a winning mentality.
mm.
We don't have all the pieces yet, and a lot of people are hoping that we don't get those pieces.
Right,
They see that the attitude, the culture is completely shifted, and I give Ten Hag all the
right,
credit to Ten Hag.
right. I say Man United. I couldn't go to these stats. Man United today had 65% possession to Leeds 35 possession. United had 18 shots off target. Leeds had 6 off target. Man United had 6 shots on target. Leeds had 2 on target. United had 6 corners. Leeds had 5 corners, 7 fouls. It Leeds 11 fouls. So Leeds, I think, honestly, I think the fans kind of, oh, they're fighting relegation. We're gonna add misery onto them. We're gonna pound
Yeah,
misery onto them. These guys came out like a bull in a china shop. Boom, 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 boom. They didn't give us time to even figure out. Well, we're one down already. You see what I mean? If
yeah,
they had got a third, I think it would have been probably lights out if they had gotten a third.
yeah. Probably. I don't know
Yeah,
if we come
because
back from that.
the 2-0, okay, not too bad. You could pull it.
Sloppy,
Yeah,
but again, fatigue.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I think United fans have to understand this team is literally playing a game every 3.5 days. A game every 3.5 days. Now we're playing a game on Sunday, Leeds. Then on Thursday we got Barcelona. Then on Sunday, Leicester. Then Barcelona.
how
Then the
quickly
cup
people
final.
forget. People forget things so fast. Remember, I believe was it Ranić? I think it was where he came in and he said, "I did not expect the level of the bottom teams in the Premier League." He
Mm.
was surprised by the level, the speed at which the bottom tier teams were playing,
Oh
and
yeah.
people forget like Leeds are not bad.
No,
Leeds
they're
are
not.
not
Not from
bad,
today's performance.
and credit to Tyler Adams. I felt Tyler Adams had a good game. McKennie kind of I didn't really think he had a good game. I thought, and the yellow card was kind of stupid. Aronson had a good game. Like the Yanks showed up, but I put it in the in the Houston Red Army chat as well. If if um if we were smart, we would consider that goalkeeper, the French goalkeeper. He's 22. Um,
Mm.
he played immaculate.
Right.
He played immaculate. Now De Gea is my all-time favorite keeper, I think, and I
Mm.
expect us to have him for a few more years. I
Right.
expect De Gea to be with us for a while. but that's not a bad thought down the line. He had some worldies today. He had some
Yeah.
absolute worldy saves. He saved Leeds several times over,
Right.
and he was amazing. The center back as well, and I'm going to
Them
pull
two
up the
centre
roster
backs,
right
they
now.
said they've been playing together since they were 12. They've
Yeah,
known them,
and they
yeah.
played together well. But the right center back. I'm pulling it up the roster right now. Coach, I think is how you say his name. Kach. 3 times, fully stretched, horizontal,
Mm.
blocking through balls that
Yeah.
were dangerous balls. I
Mm.
mean, they played well.
Yeah, he
They
won
played
number
well.
5. Yes, I
Now,
remember him.
we were able to find a rhythm and play what is Dutch Ten Hag style, which is we want the majority of possession, and that's phenomenal. I love being able to see that. But to say that, oh, Leeds are fighting relegation, therefore we shouldn't respect them,
Exactly. I think
that's
that was where
naive,
we was
man.
Achilles heel. We just
Yep.
going in there. Oh, they'll find relegation. They have no manager. A bit disorientated.
Yep.
It's not that I haven't heard it on one of the channels. I think it was because I do listen to Flex from United View. He did
Mm-hmm.
say
Yep. Yep.
we
Yeah, I
should
listened to
pound
that.
we should pound misery onto them. Um, it's not going to be like Everton because Everton, Sean Dyche had a week to work with Everton players and they got a result. That this guy is just like, I think he's even the youth team coach. I don't know where he is, but those guys were up for it today. They were up for it. So you
They
ask
were up
yourself,
for it.
why weren't they up for it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
I mean, look, I think honestly they have something really to prove right now, and
The
I,
next
I
game is
think
going to be
that
harder.
I also think that they really had a good relationship with their manager, the players. I think that what I see in the media is a unity and a collectiveness that they hadn't figured out the winning side of it, but they have a style, they
Right,
have a play style.
right.
They're adding some pieces here and there. They're not a bad side.
No.
You know, they're still lead scum, but they're not a there's talent there. And it breaks my heart honestly for Jesse Marsh because I thought he was really building something, and to be fired after less than a year, you know, uh
Well, this is, you see, I always say, the days of giving a manager 2, 3 years are so well over.
I know
You
it's
get
it's bad, and
6 months and the
it
results are bad. You're already looking
makes
behind you
it
like,
makes me fearful for Ten Hag, man, because if we don't give Ten Hag his due time, it's going to be one of the
I
biggest
think
travesties.
his case would be like, okay, they'll give him time due to the fact that from what has happened prior to him, um, they didn't give him enough. He's got the players he wanted. So he was like, okay, these are the players I wanted. These are the players I think I would need to transition us to this level. So that is why he will get more time. He would probably get more time than
Unless
Mourinho.
unless a new owner wants to bring in their own person.
No, that would be
Unless next year, or if the Glazers don't sell in the summer, and we're stuck with them next year, and our
that
first
would be a travesty,
our,
man.
our first
Absolutely.
2 months are poor games, are bad results. Our first 3 months are bad results. I don't trust the Glazers to give him time at all. If we have the Glazers, I don't trust them at all. If we have a new owner, we have to have a new owner that looks at Manchester United as a project to build on
Right, right,
and
exactly.
not an opportunity to pull money. If and there's a lot of speculation going on, especially over the last 24 hours.
The Qataris.
There's a Qatari contingent. There's also a rumor that the Qatari contingent wants to be a minority owner, doesn't even want to be a majority owner. Um,
That's going to be messed up.
there was
That
Saudi
doesn't
there
make
was
sense.
Saudi interest at one time. There's American interest, and then there is Sir Jim Radcliffe, who apparently is a lifelong Manchester United fan.
Right.
And I mean, right now, that's my pick. Just someone who comes out and says, "I am a fan of this club, and I've been a fan of this club for a long time." And look, it has to be somebody like that. It
Would
does.
he?
It's a pipe dream,
Mm,
but that's what we need to become the biggest club in the world again, which I think we fully can and deserve to be. If you have if you have a Qatari oil group or, or an American investment firm or somebody like this, it's the same old same old. If Amazon buy this club, I'm gonna tell you right now, dude, I don't know if I can take it. I'm gonna you guys
okay, let me play the you can't take it as in
hospital, man.
You can't take it as in there's gonna be so much glory of trophies galore. Is that what
there is going to be a football department at Amazon. Dude, what? Come on. No, man, you can't corporatize this. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't matter how big, how small your club is. There has to be a culture and community element to be successful.
100%. I can't agree with you more.
If you're a money element, you'll stay up. You won't get relegated, but you're not going to be successful.
No, that is the model we're trying to get to.
Even Man City, who put all this money, won all these trophies, are now looking at having all of that tarnished because the culture is not there. The community is not there.
The community is not there.
Not the way it is in Manchester United. No way.
I think they tried to walk before they crawled. Because if you look at it, how does, right?
They tried to sprint before they crawled.
Yeah, how does a team that doesn't have such a huge fan base generate more commercial revenue than Man United? Doesn't add up. The maths don't add up. It don't. Yeah, we're not winning trophies, but I'm sorry. Man City was rebuilt 2008 when they got the new people in. That was what I call the reboot.
Yeah.
2008. You know?
Yeah. No, look, Manchester United have fans from Tampa Bay to Burma to Indonesia,
India, Calcutta, Africa.
Well, we're one of the biggest, if not the biggest fan base in the world. And
unfortunately, Man City said their revenue it don't add up.
Yeah,
they're just cooking the books.
It's what happens when big money comes in and caters to more big money. It's what happened here. It's what happened at City. There has to be a cater towards the fan base, especially when you have a global fan base. Right. You have a global fan base and you're not listening at all to the fans. And I understand we're divided and we argue over everything.
Right.
And there's but you have to stop and listen, because there are things across the board that Manchester United fans agree about and want to see happen with this club. Several things.
Yeah.
And it's not, if I can understand it, if anyone in a Manchester United supporter group can understand it, then certainly someone in the damn marketing department can understand it. I'm saying.
Yeah, you're so right, mate. You are really very, you're correct.
Somebody has to get it. I used to say this about the Houston Dynamo all the time because I am an avid Dynamo fan. Like, somebody in that office has to be listening to us, because like they talk to us week in, week out. They hear our complaints. Somebody's got to get it. If nobody gets it at this point, good Lord, man, like somebody needs to lose their job. Like,
so I was going to ask you, you mentioned about De Gea, the Bayern Munich goalkeeper, Neuer. He's having a few issues and clashes with the club. He went on a skiing trip and they don't like the players going on skiing, and he broke his ankle or something along those lines. Yeah, right. They're upset and he said he wants to leave. Would you be interested in Neuer signing for Manchester United?
I don't think Neuer comes in and replaces De Gea. And that is going to be extremely controversial, and people are going to tell me, like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I think Manuel Neuer is, again, probably one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. You don't walk into this club that De Gea has been in it since Ferguson and has commanded this team, earned his motherfucking stripes. You don't come in and just kick him out. Now, if De Gea wants to leave or he wants to retire or whatever, God bless you, man. Go with grace.
Right.
But if the Glazers is like one final act, or whoever comes in and buys Manuel Neuer and says, De Gea, you're not it. Nah, man, that don't sit right with me.
Right, right.
That is the ultimate disrespect.
So
Nothing against Nora, honestly,
no,
but
I can't agree with you more.
De Gea is a legend of this club. Let me
100%,
put it that way. Let me put it.
100%. Right. As you can see, Leeds gave the all today at Old Trafford. What are you expecting in the game on Sunday at Elland Road? Because the
More of the
confidence will be
same.
high now
More of the same, honestly. I think.
with the
I think
fans behind them. Because the
the
fans, the
fans
rivalry
behind
between the two is really deep.
Ellen Road is loud, man. Ellen Road is loud. And again, part of that is because of the culture that Jesse Marsh built and his connection with the fans because they loved him. Um, I'm sorry, they messed up.
But
They messed
Leeds
up
have
with
a
firing
fan
him.
base. Like I said, Leeds have a culture. Man
Yes,
City don't have a
100%.
culture. See
Yep,
what I mean? Leeds
yep.
and United go way back to the 60s and 70s, whereby the rivalry of hate between the two
The
clubs
Rose
and the fans.
rivalry, man.
That
White
was
versus
hatred.
red.
So going to Elland Road on Sunday, what are you expecting?
It's going to be a tough game, and it's going to be even tougher because of how many injuries that we had. Like, I really hope that United fans understand after today, what it is to be in the Premier League and what it is to support the club. Seriously, seriously, this. Oh, we're great. Oh, we suck. Oh, we're great. Oh, we suck. Like, you can't look at a game today and
Mm,
then just say, "Oh, we're going to tear them up at the weekend." Today was a fluke. You can't have that mentality. You know what I mean? Like Ellen Road is going to be hard. It's going to be a hard game. Now, what I would say the focus is Varane, Bruno. You cannot have those mistakes. You can't
right,
have those
right,
slip ups. You have to
right, right.
understand both goals, as good as the first goal was, as good as it was, the link up play and the fast counter,
Mm,
as good as it was, both goals were on the backs of mistakes.
100%, 100%.
Now, to say you have to be perfect and you have to go in, you can't make mistakes. That's brutal. That's brutal. It's
It
so
is,
hard,
it is.
especially at this
I can't
level.
agree more.
But we're just in a situation where, like, look, dude, we can't give you a rest. You have to play just
Right.
because there's no options. The bench is
Mm.
what it is. The players are out. Casemiro can't play. He's not allowed. You have to play and you have to be on it. That's the only way that you got. Like, I think that we can go in and bag a win. I 100% believe that if we maintain the possession, if we continue taking shots on goal and being threatening in the final third like we were today,
Mm.
we absolutely could win. But you have to clean it up. You got to clean up those technical mistakes because that's what broke us. It broke us today.
Right. So United need to rid of all the mistakes that handed it to Leeds, but Leeds also had their own coming to Old Trafford.
Yep.
Without a manager who's worked with them for a few weeks, I would say let's give credit where credit's due. They played well. They had the game plan. They stuck to it. They tormented our midfield. When you had Fred, Sibiza, and Bruno. I mean, I don't know if McTominay is going to be back. Your other friend, Scooby Doo, will be back on Sunday. Um, because this is Sabitzer's first full game, him starting. So he's probably got a taste of it like, oh, wow, this is physical. This is
Yeah, I
100%, 100
mean,
miles an hour. He has to step up without a game.
they played extremely well, but honestly, without their goalkeeper and without a little bit of luck, we win that game. We
Right,
do
right,
in the last 25 minutes, which is unfortunate,
mm,
but we win that game.
right.
That goalkeeper it was like three major saves in the last
Yes.
15,
He,
10,
he, wa-
15
he
minutes.
was on top form.
He played amazingly, full stretch several times. Um, so I mean, we created the chances.
Hmm.
We can win this game. And look, and if we go towards Leeds and we win 4-3,
Mm. You
if we
take
win
it.
3-2, I'm happy. I'm over the moon. In fact, I mean, honestly, I love games like that. But
I I don't want to jinx it. Would you take another 2-2, or you'd be upset?
I mean, look, I'd be upset because I want us to push as much as we possibly can. I
Mm.
want to win.
So
We
another two
always
points
want to
dropped.
win. Um, I think we are better than what we did today, but
Right.
we have to play smarter with all of these players out that are out, you know.
Right.
Um, and what we're asking them to do is incredibly difficult. I, you know, as someone who is a coach and is in football, I mean, I push them to win. I push them to be the absolute best that they can be.
Right.
And and I mean, I'm gonna criticize, and I'm gonna point
Of
out
course, that's your job.
where they can do better. But you can be critical of Manchester United, you can be critical of this team, and at the same time respect how difficult of a situation we are in right
Right.
now. You know,
Ranick.
sorry, go ahead.
Ranick tried to criticize them last season.
And they fired him.
And they fired him. He told them they need open heart surgery, 10 new players in, 10 out. Some of the players just literally down tools, literally. And he was looking forward to come and work with Ten Hag. And the minute he started to say things that were damaging the brand, they thought, you know what, you're out of here, mate.
Yeah, no, look, extremely poor transfer window for us in January. Not solely because of the players that we did not get, but because of the players that we kept.
Yeah.
Our exit transfers are abysmal.
Mm.
And the dead weight that we're carrying that are not playing for us. I'm not talking about McTominay. I'm not talking about
You got
that
Brandon Williams, Transebe.
those players that we will sell eventually. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the ones that we refuse to sell. The Williams, the freaking
Phil Jones.
Like, I love you, Phil Jones, but damn it, just yank his contract already. Like, why are we continuing to pay these players?
Jesus.
Why is Axel Tuanzebe still owned by Manchester United? Why is Alex Telles?
He's injured.
Like, yeah, but we're not going to use him. We're not going to sell him. Sell Telles.
Telles is on loan. Telles is on loan. Bailly's on loan. Because apparently there are 5 players United.
Why are these players on loan? Why? Why are we paying 50-60% of their salary? Why?
United are interested in selling 5 players next year. Apparently, they said Maguire, Martial, Bailly, McTominay, and what's the left back? Telles. Are the players? I mean, the reason why Phil Jones is not on that list. That would be. We were talking about how much should we give him. I was telling them 50 million. BAMS, they all said no way that United can't get 50 million from him. I said 1. He's English.
Yeah, you can probably get 50.
I said he's English. England player. He's always number 1. He's always number 1 for England.
Yeah.
He did not play. How many games did he play before he went to the World Cup? 2. He's still number 1 on the team sheet.
Yeah, no, he did. He didn't play enough, and honestly, he didn't have a great World Cup either.
Nope. So
and honestly,
he will get. He won't get 80.
Sticks by him. I don't get it. You know, you know what it is. Maguire has some dirt on somebody, and it's not the Glazers. No, it's somebody up. It's the president of UEFA, the president of FIFA. I don't know. He's got some dirt on somebody. The only way he goes to a World Cup is because that man knows something.
I mean,
he knows something, man.
But he plays better. From what we can all see, he plays better in a free man back line instead of a 4 back line, where he's expected to move the ball and play the ball and make some passes to the midfielder. But obviously, he can't do that well at Man United. I don't know if he's better suited as an Everton player or Southampton player, or it's just not working out for him. Because if you think about it, he's not injured. Nope. Ten Hag is still not picking him. He comes on as a sub, and I'm thinking, this guy really does.
After Lindelof.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
And rightfully so. I think Lindelof is a better center back. I do. I don't think he's a starting center back, but I think he's a better center back than Maguire.
He gets barged off the ball too easily. The smallest center forward just shoulder him, and he's off.
Maguire puts the ball in his own net.
Yeah. And
that is my answer to that.
Kicks his own players. You know, the one that sticks to mind is that Pogba one. That Pogba was so upset. You just saw Pogba.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. Like Jesus, there's so much dead weight that we're dragging with us
Oh yeah.
that we can't have the depth that we need because we can't buy extra players because we're paying these ball and chains
Mm.
hundreds of thousands of dollars a week.
Yeah.
Excuse me, hundreds
That
of
so.
thousands of pounds a week.
Mm.
Like what are we doing, man? It's just remnants of the Woodward era. It's remnants of the Glazers, and
Yes, it is.
man, I really like Radcliffe is my guy. I really hope that he gets it only because of the way he talks about the club. Other than that, I
Right.
don't really know much about him. Um, but if we get another big money owner who just keeps it the same, I'm gonna be gutted. I'm gonna be heartbroken.
What the problem people are concerned about with Jim Ratcliffe is he going to use all his money to buy the club? But the club will also need refacilitating of the gym, I mean the training center and the stadium. So you're going to need to spend more than 7 billion. You're buying it, but do you have enough to
Yeah,
invest in it? So
and
that's
I mean
all.
the answer.
Does he have a consortium that's joining him? That's
Yeah,
another thing.
I think the answer to that is you and there's I was reading about this and there's a lot of speculation about this. You have to get the UK government involved because Manchester United are not worth what they're asking for it. You know what I mean? They're not worth
the
it's not worth what they're asking for it. Like it's not
billion,
like
the United are worth 2 billion. They're asking for six.
at its height, Manchester United was worth like 4.6 billion at its
Right,
height.
right,
Add another billion because they got to make some money. Okay, 5.66 billion is at its height. That was years ago.
right,
Now you're talking about where we are now. I think the club is worth less than 4 billion right now. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I
right.
looked at Forbes, um, you can't ask for seven. You can't. Now, if you want to keep it and you're like seven or nothing, okay. But I mean, that's not what they're trying to do. They're really just trying to force this kind of big money thing and take their money and run.
Yeah.
And look, I think think there's something shady to be said about that. And if there are financial laws in place that that would force them to sell it at a fair price, I think that should be explored. If I'm Jim Radcliffe, that's my thinking. Is I spend a lot of money on some really good lawyers, and I say let's figure this deal out.
Right.
Um, that being said, if all that fails and they do have to buy it at 7 billion, yeah, he's probably got to bring in somebody else, but that's not hard to do. I don't think
No, it shouldn't be
it's
to
not
get
hard to bring
consortium.
in somebody for to an organization that is one of the biggest marketing ventures in the world. It is one of the most recognizable brands. Next to Coca-Cola and Apple, like it's up
Mm,
there. And a
mm.
lot of people, even if you don't follow football, you recognize the Manchester
Right,
United.
right, right, right. So,
So
so,
I mean that I don't think is hard, but what concerns me is the majority ownership
mm,
of someone or someone's who have the best interest of the footballing side of it, because ultimately trophies make money.
of course,
Trophies make
that
money,
is
and I don't
why
understand
you
why
see.
that's never been like on the Glazers' radar. It's always cut costs so we can maximize profits. Why don't you
Hmm.
elevate the product so you can maximize profits
Exactly my
even
point.
more? It's
So
it's
when
ridiculous.
you see Jose Mourinho was that manager who he loves to show trophies.
Yep,
Then we had Ole who said it's not about winning trophies. I could never, till this day, I can't comprehend
he's a great gym teacher.
because you were in this team that won trophies every season. And yet you're saying it's not about winning trophies. If that was his way of just trying to spite Mourinho, then you're actually fooling yourself. Because if you
Yeah,
tell your team, you go on national TV and say it's not about trophies. So, what are the players actually playing for as sportsmen? Can
thank
someone
you. Yeah.
just
No, if you are a League Two, League Three team that deals in 18 to 23-year-olds, and you're
mm,
like, oh, it's about developing players and making these players good people, more power to you. God bless. But if you're a top six club in the most competitive league in the world, there is
mm,
nothing else.
Exactly.
You know what I
Got
mean? Like,
trophies.
yes, we develop players and our academy is extremely important to us, but we do it so we can win trophies.
100%.
Like, we
So
do
when
it
he
so we
said
can win
that, it
trophies
left a
for
bitter taste in
Manchester
my
United
mouth.
and bring it back to the Manchester United community. But at the same time, we got to win. We got to win. We're Manchester United. It's about winning. It's what it's
Right.
about.
I mean, when he said that, I felt a bitter taste in my mouth. Like, are you just trying to spite Mourinho? Because Mourinho said, "I'm the last United manager to win trophies," which very much so. And Ole saying it's not about trophies. What is it about then, mate?
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be like an image thing. Like I guess he wanted people to think he was a good guy, but I mean, clearly it backfired because we already thought he
He's a,
was a good guy. We're like, yeah, you're
he's,
nice, but you
he's a,
gotta win for us, dude.
he's a clown.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Look, I mean, he had no managerial experience that would have prepared him for something of this magnitude.
no. As a
Like
player, it's completely
it was
different.
not, it was not a. It's just it was not a good choice, and I liked him, I really did, but it wasn't a good choice.
Right. Now, I'm going to ask you the hard question. Man United against Leeds Ellen Road on Sunday. Scores.
Play smart, create chances, score goals, and you'll win 3-2.
3-2.
I think it's going to
Okay.
be a battle. I think it's going to be a battle. Whatever happens, it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I really think it's going to be a battle, especially those Leeds fans. They will be the 12th man trying to
They're going
wind
to be
United
loud.
players up.
They're going to be loud. They're going to be abusing our fans the
Yeah,
way
oh
I
yeah.
would if they were in my house. Like it's going to be rough. It's going to be super super rough. But it's I think we are capable, and I think we are miles better than where we were 6 months ago, and I think we're on the precipice of being maybe the best Manchester United side in the last 9 years. But we'll see. But
Right.
we'll see.
Is Sancho going to start? Should he start?
That's a physio question. Honestly, I don't think that is a form. Like, I don't think that is a form question. I don't
Right.
think that's I don't think that's a. It's definitely not a matter of discipline or anything like that. It's literally just how many minutes he can go without seriously hurting himself.
Right.
I think that's the only reason he doesn't start today. I'm happy that look. I'm happy whenever Ganacho's on. I really like him.
Right.
I think he offers us a lot. Would I have liked to see Ganacho, Rashford, and Sancho? Yeah, I would have loved to see that.
Nacho, Rafa, and Sancho. Okay.
Rashford in the middle, maybe Ganacho on the left, Sancho on the right. I think that would be awesome to watch. Maybe Weghorst comes in later to give either a Sancho a respite or give Rashford a break. I think that would be fine. I would prefer to
Right.
see that maybe starting lineup instead, and maybe bring on Weghorst later. That could be. I think that could work, but if we have to have Weghorst back in the center, I don't know if he starts. I don't know if he starts. It really just depends on what the doctor says, man.
Right, Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure again, once again, for you joining us today. Man United didn't get the 3 points we fans anticipated, because like I told you, a lot of fans said, "Oh, they're relegation, they have no manager, so
everybody relax."
they're going to be like headless chickens." But no, these headless chickens fought like it was like their life dependent. They fought like a team trying not to relegate. You know those last day games whereby you get a point, you're not going down the drop, you're not going to fall into the trap door. They played like that today.
Yep. And
You know what I mean?
the team that wins on the last day to get over the line and stay in the league, their fans celebrate like they just won the championship.
Exactly.
Like it sucks to be down there, I'm sure, but I mean, when your team pulls it together, when they work together, when they rally, when they have the culture and they have the connection with the fans, and they get over that line, it's like Christmas.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And if Manchester City, and this is not going to happen, but if they got booted from the Prem and had to play down, their fans don't have their back like that.
No, they won't. No, they won't.
Chance.
No.
Not a chance.
They will have no.
Well,
they will
good
have
on
no
Leeds
fans.
today, honestly.
They don't have those
I
fans.
really was impressed. And I hope Leeds lose this weekend, but after that, man, I hope that they avoid relegation because I think they deserve it.
Right. And you're cheering for the Americans who are in that team.
Also, very much cheering for the mayor. I will not hide that bias. I am very much cheering for the Americans on that team.
Oh, that's good. Well, Louis, it's been an absolute pleasure again. Man United 2, Leeds 2. Next game again on Sunday. We play Leeds at Ellen Road. Is it going? We're going to get 3 points? Only time will tell. So after that, we'll have the post game. We'll have the UK crew and the US crew dissecting that game. Hopefully, it's a game to dissect with a result of positivity and 3 points. So we now go 2 games ahead of Arsenal now. So Arsenal got 2 points ahead of us. So people were saying, what if United had won Crystal Palace, beaten Arsenal, and won today? How would that have been? That would have been
If
right.
it's and buts were candy and nuts.
All right, Louis, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're on all the social media platforms. We're on Spotify while you're driving to work or you're working at the gym. Just go to Spotify and listen to our podcast and, tell us what you think. Right, Louis, have a nice day and we will catch up with you over the weekend. But if there's any
Thank you so
breaking
much,
news,
Tim.
we'll get you in. Thank you
Good
very much,
night, my
matey.
man.
You take care. Take care, brother. Bye-bye.